Welcome to the Rock is George podcast. I'm your host, George Dionne. Be sure to check out my new and improved website, rockisgeorge.com, where you can find all our social media and streaming platforms, as well as podcast episodes, knac.com exclusives, album and show reviews, and much, much more. My guest for episode 227 is bassist JERRY PRUTZ of the Swedish blues rock act CIRKUS PRUTZ. CIRKUS PRUTZ recently released their fourth studio album, MANEFESTO, through Metalville Records, and here's JERRY PRUTZ to tell you more about it. If I knew absolutely nothing about CIRKUS PRUTZ, how would you describe the band's music to me?
Heavy blues rock with the roots in the 70s, American and also the British tradition, like Rory Gallagher or like Led Zeppelin maybe, or Small Faces or something like that.
I'd have to agree with that. And I heard all those influences on your latest album, MANEFESTO, which came out on April 18th through Metalville Records. One of the interesting things about this album I was reading about is that you guys went into the rehearsal studio and wrote it there. That's not what people are doing traditionally today.
No, actually, I think they use AI or or maybe computers and so on. But we like to get together and trade riffs and so on. But it's more like an old school way to work, and we would like to have the songs ready and test them live, but that wasn't time for this time.
Now, I know that you wrote in the rehearsal room. Did you guys record in a traditional studio, or was that more computer based?
No, yeah, the record was produced and recorded with Peter Tagtgren from Pain and Hypocrisy, and he had a project with Till Lindemann from Rammstein called Lindemann, and he was the brainchild behind that. And I think they wrote something for the Berlin Ballet or something. Peter is a pure genius. He's like the prince of heavy metal, and actually he lived quite close from where I am right now. So I'm going to visit him tomorrow. So yeah, it was really. It was like when when Slayer used Rick Rubin as a producer. It's the same thing because I knew him for a lot of years, and he's a big Beatles fan. Though I don't like the Beatles, but anyway, but he's really into that old school thing to rehearse, but everything is based in Pro Tools. He's a wizard of Pro Tools. I don't even know how he does those things.
So, did you clash at all with Peter, where you guys are a blues based band and his known genre is heavy metal?
No, not Clash because he knows music, but well, there are a picture somewhere on Instagram or somewhere when Peter is standing with a pile of amplifiers like Marshall and so, and then more up to date amps like the Meshuggah amp for about 60,000 Swedish crowns or something. And Franco, who is the oldest member, is sitting in a chair, and Peter asked him, "What amplifier would you prefer?" "Well, I would like to have the Marshall." "No, you can't." "But I won't." "No, I am the producer." And actually, he accepted it, and he's the only one of us that are familiar with Pro Tools and so on. So they really click together, but they have never met before this. I've known Peter for about 25 years or so. but not clashed in any way, because we have a lot of focus on the vocals this time. And Peter says, especially because one of his band, Hypocrisy, is more like death metal, with a growl. But the other band, who is like more like an industrial thing called Pain, it's really a lot of machines and so on. And he sings more there, but he's not that confident with his vocals. So he told me, well, I can't sing. Oh, no, yeah, that's for sure. Your songs has about 100 million streams on Spotify, so of course you can't sing. But I know all the tricks. Yeah, let's use them. So we worked very, very hard with the vocals.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the songs that came before
Yeah.
the album's release. Why don't you tell me a little bit about White Knuckle Blues and kind of how that song came together?
Yeah, actually, it's me writing nearly all the lyrics, uh, at least in the first version. But that's about me being afraid of heights. When you're driving over a really high bridge, you get white knuckles. And actually, I was driving those. I don't know if you heard of them. There are all female Black Sabbath tribute band in the States called Black Sabbath.
Yes,
Have you heard of them?
I have.
Actually, I worked as a tour manager for them here in Sweden. So I drove them, and we drove from Malmö over the bridge to Copenhagen. It's a long, high bridge. And actually, they just mock me the whole time. Well, you look scared, Jerry. Well, no. Well. So actually, when I got over, there's quite a bit road to go back. So actually, I went more north so I could get with a ferry, because I didn't like the bridge. And actually, we twist that around, because Christian's brother used to drive a drag racing car. And in the video, there's a drag racing car that Peter is sponsoring with money. So it says Pain on the side, and in the studio is in Pärlby, village of Pearl. And actually, he owns the whole village. It's like hundreds of houses there. But actually, it says in Pärlby, no one can hear you scream, like in the movie Alien. So as a homage to him, we used a lot of the sequences with his car in the video. So actually, it's about being afraid of heights and driving cars very fast.
That's awesome. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the Handyman Boogie?
Yeah, it's really interesting, because to go back to Peter again, he's friends with the Swedish actor Peter Stormare, from The Big Lebowski and from Fargo and so on. And actually, in the movie The Big Lebowski, there's this porno actor called Carl Hangos, and he's the man with a tool belt. And when I have written the first version of the lyric, hey, that's Peter in Big Lebowski. And actually, it makes sense when you read it, and it's just for fun. And Peter Tagtgren just sent it to Peter, and he got very happy with it. But we tried to get him dance in the video, but we didn't manage to it. But it would have been great. But he knows of the song, and he knows that it's about that porno actor. It's like a German John Holmes or something. It's not that serious. But every woman like a man with a tool belt, I think.
A big tool belt.
Yeah.
Another single that you put out was Walking in the Rain. Why don't you tell me the inspiration behind that one?
Actually, I was thinking about the song with from Flash in the Pan, "Walking in the Rain." So I don't know why I was thinking about it, and you know that one of the members of Flash in the Pan was the elder brother of AC/DC, of Agnes and Malcolm. So, but anyway, it's kind of a bluesy kind of lyric about, well, some days the sun shines, some day it rains, I think. And yeah, that's that, I think.
And it's a nice little sentiment on the
Yeah,
album.
it's you really need to calm things down, I think. Otherwise, there are a lot of fast songs. I really like fast songs, but sometimes you have to do like when people can light their mobile phones like this. I like that.
Absolutely. So, how did you come up with the album title Manifesto? There's no songs on the album named Manifesto.
Uh, well, the the previous record was called Blues Revolution. I don't know if you heard it, and the song it's about a peaceful and loving revolution. And if you look at the cover, there are this girl with a horn on the hats reading something, and that's the manifesto. And actually, because I'm a pretentious asshole, have written on manifest, but I think we realized it, but I think that would be too much to for people, too much uh, to take in for people. So we didn't go further with this. But actually, got together more on the design or cover wise, but and it was Franco's idea, and well, yeah, I think it's a cool title because we always try to have some kind of all for the boogie and the blues, white jazz, black magic, blues revolution, but manifesto would be good.
So, is there something in the current album cover that's going to link to your next album?
Hopefully, I think so because I like if you really look at the albums, it's a lot of details. I haven't seen any of them for myself. I discover new things like every day, and I like those little things he had done. We did those covers for Spotify. With the first was a skeleton with a guitar. That's not that cool. It would be anything, but then it was uh, Handyman Boogie. The skeleton has hammers and so on. Walking in the Rain was an umbrella, and for the song "Drinking Muddy Water," it was kind of a whiskey bottle or something. I think that's cool. I really like it. It has some thoughts behind it, but it's just cool, I think.
And I think it's kind of great that in today's day and age that vinyl is making a comeback so you can really take your time to put that detail into your album covers where it all got shrunk down in CDs and
Yeah,
shrunk down digitally. It's great that you can have, display of art. Like this Quill album has
yeah,
so many
yeah,
different little things in it.
yeah. It's great. It's great. Yeah. We was thinking about um, having another artist, but Christian did it is really good, so we stuck with him for a while, I think.
So, what are live performances looking like for Circus Brits?
We did in Mars 3 warm-up gigs with an American young new blues artist called Sean McDonald. He's from Chicago. He's only 22 years old. So we did like 3 gigs with him in Malmö, Stockholm, and Västerås. And in the his backing band was Johnny Griparik from Walter Trout and from Slash Band. He played on the Orgy of Damned album. He's from Sweden, a town near where I live. So I haven't known him this long. And on the drums were Jakob Rönnlöv. He's playing drums for Walter Trout and some Danish band. He's a great drummer. Has more hair and beard than I. And there was this guy, Bob Fritzima, who I thought was an American because he's from like Holland. And he's the keyboard player for Glenn Hughes. So we did have something to match up with. But it was really interesting. And it was really fun. And then we did the week before last week, we did some gigs just to back up the release in Christian's hometown at a motorcycle club, and then we played in a record store, and then we played in my hometown at a club, and now it's calm a bit, and then in June the summer festivals and gigs start, and then we play like in we're going to the Netherlands in the end of August at the big blues festival there, and well, actually we booked the whole year and a bit in next year a bit. We're talking about more gigs in 2026, so that's life.
I know it's tough for Swedish bands to get over here to the US.
Yeah.
The cost, the visas, you got to do everything like years in advance. So I'd imagine it'd be tough for you guys to get over here.
Yeah, we were trying because I'm friends with, or we are friends with Michael Amott from Arch Enemy. Have you heard him? He's a great guy. He's from Halmstad, and he's a great guy. And they are touring the States now. So I speak to him like some days ago. He was written, and it says goes really well, but everything is so expensive now, and all the cost had increased. So yeah. But we would love to come there, but we're working on it.
Maybe you can get on one of those cruises that aren't really in America, but are kind of in America.
Yeah. And I can always ask my friend who is the singer in Ghost.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, we're from same town, but Tobias is like 20 years younger than me or something. But I'm known him for ages, so I can really I will try, but he won't let me. I think he'll need Amon Amart or something. I don't know, or Volbeat or something.
I'm finding out that a lot of Swedish artists know each other. Everybody's kind of all
Yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming it's all small towns.
Yeah, it Sweden is not that big, and if you are like me, like old, I've been around forever, but both me and Franco, all of us have been active for, like in the late 70s, starting with punk rock and so on. And actually, I would like to think that people think that we are nice people, so that's why they like us. But yeah, we knew a lot of the Swedish bands. Sweden is not that big, and there's a lot of good bands coming from here. Really good, I think.
Absolutely. Now, you and Christian Carlsson of the Quill formed CIRKUS PRUTZ sometime around 2017. How did you guys originally meet?
Yeah, actually, Per, who is a drummer, and I used to live near each other, but now he is moving down where Christian lives. But actually we started like in 2010 or 9 or something, because we were playing in another band, and we should play in this little town where Per was living. And the other guys we played with couldn't come there, so we talked to some other friends, and we find it fun. It was mainly a cover, like playing old blues songs and so on. And then I wanted to play like more like a cross between Danzig and Dr. Feelgood or blues rock or something. But and then one summer, like 2015, Christian was playing with us for a summer, and then I told him, "You can't quit." So that's the thing. And actually, Franco he started playing with us in 2017, I think, because before him we had Robert Dahlqvist from Helicopters called Strings. He played on the first album, and then he died, like 8 years ago. And after him we had Michael Fessberg from Bonafide, and he died the year after. And that's, sorry, it's nothing to laugh about, but I don't think Franco he don't dare to quit, because then he will die. We have some, like the Spinal Tap problem with the drummers, they will explode or something.
Now, I want to hit the time machine on your career. You mentioned that you've been in bands since the 70s. I found one from the 90s, which I believe you were in, called Wired Electric Tension, which isn't too much different than what you're doing with Circus Pritz. Maybe a little more arena rocky than Pritz or melodic. Tell me a little bit about the band.
Well, I think we started out in 1987 or something, but I met those guys like when I was in my late teens or something, because some of them were much older than I was. But then we did some record with Berno Paulsson in Malmö, who was the producer for one of Quill's albums. He did The Haunted, he did Amon Amart, a lot of bands. And I think we didn't have the same, or all the members didn't have the same drive and want to do things. So in the like in 20, like when the millennium started, I think things just went away. So but there are actually 3 records, and I think especially the second is really good, and it's not that different, I think.
Now, Wired Electric Tension was signed to the record label HSM. Was that a larger label in Sweden?
It was an what do you say, a division of CBS or Sony, when it was like it used to be in the in the good evil days. Um, yeah, we did a lot of playing around Linköping, where I was living. And I think we did a tour in Finland, like in the beginning of the 90s. But yeah, it was a good band, but with a lot of different minds, so to speak. But yeah, I'm quite proud of that record, because I wrote most of the lyrics. But
So the band Wired Electric Tension also went by the acronym W.E.T, Wet, and there's a
yeah,
current band out now that uses that acronym.
yeah, I know.
I'm assuming that Wired Electric Tension let their copyright expire on that, or maybe some cash was
No,
exchanged.
no, actually, I know their basis they have now, so well they can use it, no problem. But Actually, I'm a friend of a guy who is he's the manager for like the Swedish guy who was singing for Skid Row, Erik Granvall, and so. He's a close friend of mine. But it's nothing to do. You have to pick your fights, and that's not a fight I want to have either.
Don't blame
Actually,
me there.
uh,
Do you work on any other music projects currently besides Circus Pritz?
actually not. But I talked to another friend of mine called, his name is Niklas Engelin. He was playing in Flames and so on, and yeah, for now he's playing with the Halo Effect. It's a really good songwriter. And we were talking about some time ago about writing songs for a female singer, like in the style of Rammstein or so. But I don't know. And actually, I would love to write for some female voices, some really heavy, like dancing type of blues, and really heavy. But it's hard to find good female singers, I think, in with that more deeper voice. Actually, I don't know anyone in Sweden. Maybe I don't. I probably doesn't listen that much, but yeah, I would like to do that.
There's a girl that sings in this band called Infinite and Divine. Her name is Tezzy.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I think that she's from Sweden. I know that the guy she's in the band with is from Sweden, and she has that deep voice that I think could probably
Okay.
hit your
I will
project.
check it out. I will check it out.
Infinite and Divine is the name of the band.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Well, Jerry, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new Circus Pritz album is out now. It's called Manifesto. Fantastic album through Metalville Records, and I want to thank you for taking the time to tell me more about it today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here, and keep on rocking in the free world, like you said.
Once again, I want to thank Jerry Prutz of Circus Pritz for coming on the Rock is George podcast. Be sure to check out their latest album, Manifesto, out now through Metalville Records. Head over to your favorite music streaming platform, take a listen to the album. If you like what you hear, buy a physical copy, support the artist. For all things Circus Pritz, head over to their official Facebook page /Circus Pritz. I also want to thank Nathan T. Burke and Metalville Records for making this interview possible. You've been great. I've been George Dionne. Discover your next favorite artist on the Rock is George podcast.